Welcome back to another episode of the Nick Cage Fight Podcast. Where we are here to wrap up our review synopsis, general rundown of The Trust. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by Rich and Ryan, my rock and foundation, respectively. How are we feeling today?
I am a rock. I am an island.
I'm planning a heist.
As you should, pretty much every day of your life.
Capitalism.
Capitalism.
Yeah. Listen, if you're not heisting, what are you doing?
ABH. Always be heisting.
Yep, break out those lockpicks. Start practicing, man.
I gotta get me one of those, one of the clear ones.
Okay, I got a quick aside. I had to walk somebody through lockpicking my front door while I was in North Carolina because they were feeding my cat and they left my fucking spare key in the house with their car keys. And I knew where they could procure some lockpicks in their house because they live with my best friend, who I know for a fact has lockpicks. So I had to walk somebody who has never picked a lock in their life through breaking into my house.
Did they rake pin it, or were they?
They did rake pin it,
okay.
yeah.
Yep, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
I as a quick funny aside, a work friend of mine got themselves a condo recently, and they didn't have the key to the outside closet, and this gentleman's girlfriend was not aware they didn't have a key, and locked it from the inside and shut it.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I was like, hey, I actually have a professional set of lockpicks, and I have practice locks because I have weird hobbyist interests. I'll bring them in
fun.
and let you practice, and you can borrow them. So my buddy has a set of lockpicks, and his closet is actually right outside the door of another tenement in that building. And I was like, maybe tape a sign to your back that says, I own this closet and don't own the key. Please don't call the cops.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes for them. But also,
I hope well.
Rich, by the way, if you want a set of clear locks to practice on, I got you covered. My current test lock allows me actually to set the pins, including safety pins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know you can buy those from Where are you getting yours from?
I will...
Wait. Don't tell me off air. We are not telling anybody unless they pay us.
Okay, no, that's cool.
I agree.
Yeah, totally.
But I have
I'm gonna
a place
beep
for
out
it. I have a place for it, and the practice lock isn't clear, but you can set between 1 and 6 pins, I believe. And the set comes with safety pins, like spool pins and stuff like that, to try and trick you with the shear line.
It's a fun and useful hobby. When I worked as a security guard in a now defunct casino in Atlantic City, I found countless uses for my lockpicks.
I'm not gonna lie, I do love the intimacy of doing like a full-on Skyrim set of lockpicks. But
it's the only way to get to the good bathroom that's back of house that's always locked. For clearly, it's like the fucking EVS guy's favorite bathroom. But yeah.
But what I really want is I want to get a Leshy tool at some point.
I'm not aware of what that is.
It's like, you know those goofy ads you see to like put all of your keys in this weird switchblade setup?
Yes, absolutely.
It's like that, but it just contains everything you need to defeat every conventional lock.
Oh, okay.
So once you learn the difference between all of them, you basically don't even have to have any skill. You just jam it in and twist it.
Oh, it's like sex.
Yeah.
Just like sex.
It's just like
you always
Rich's
gotta jam and
approach
twist.
to sex. So, where we last left off our protagonists, Waters had been convinced after tasting a disgusting treat in a Vegas diner, I think we settled on.
Yes, they just ate the lemons.
Yeah, they ate the lemons. And Waters sets about trailing the guy who has bailed out for $200,000 cash bail. So Waters trails the guy and sees him go into a kind of nondescript apartment and then come out dressed as like a valet or general waitstaff for a casino. If you live near a casino town, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, it's like a weird colored blazer and dress pants.
Yeah, yeah. And the
Yeah,
dress
it's
pants,
sort of like a
it's
sort of like a fancy tuxedo, but like red and black.
and it's
Yeah.
made
Maybe
out
some
of a
gold.
material that will never actually wrinkle.
Yeah, I have one of those pants. I bought it at a thrift store near Atlantic City.
You wore
Yeah.
it to Josh's wedding.
I did. I sure did.
Those are good pants, dude.
Good pants. They don't wrinkle. They don't stain. They're made of plastic.
So later, Waters meets with Stone to go over what he's learned. The guy works in a first floor restaurant at one of the casinos. Stone believes somebody is scaring him because, quote, no drug dealer shows up to a dead-end job on time every night in a single week, which cracked me up.
It's correct, yeah.
So, yeah, Stone's logic there is hard to argue with, but it is also funny at the same time.
It's true to my life experience. I've known some drug dealers in my day.
Who hasn't?
So Stone goes to confront this guy while still like dressed as a police officer, and Waters like barely talks him off the ledge from doing so. And then we cut to the next day, and this is where we get our first Ethan Suplee scene, which is amazing because he drops off something. He's like, the guys from like evidence collection are going to be by to pick this up, like hang out to Waters, and Waters is like, I don't want to do that. Why don't you fucking stay for it? And Ethan Suplee's character is like, tell you what, I'll flip you for it. And he pulls his fucking ankle piece, which is what you frame somebody with after you shoot them extrajudicially.
Yeah. No, I fucking love this scene. This might be my second favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a very good scene.
And he like loads the cylinder with one bullet and goes, do you want to go first or me? And when Waters obviously balks at it, Ethan Suplee's character puts the gun to his head, pulls the trigger, which causes Waters to freak out. And then he holds the gun to Waters' head and pulls the trigger again, which also clicks on a dead chamber. At which point, Suplee's character shows that he never put that last bullet into the cylinder.
Great use of sleight of hand. Although I don't know if that was an editing trick or if he actually did the little pass.
I think he actually did it because, spoiler alert for an 8-year-old movie, I guess. The second time he does this, I was really paying attention.
Yeah, and I don't think there was a cut in there.
There
time.
wasn't, and you could literally see how he palmed it.
He covers the round with his thumb.
It's a good pass. Like it's a solid
It is a good pass. Like when you're not looking for it, it looks real good. When you're looking for it, it doesn't. But like it was good.
Yeah,
well,
no,
that's the thing
100%.
with sleight of hand magic. You only ever show someone the same move once.
Yeah, you don't want to repeat
Yeah.
the trick. After this insanely funny scene, Waters is informed that he's supposed to cover Stone's desk while he's on special assignment, which is news to Waters. And then we cut to an amazing series of scenes where Nick Cage is just working entry-level jobs at a casino.
Oh god, when he drops the fucking tray is so good.
He's a towel boy. He's trailing the guy who got bailed out, but he's a towel boy. He's a waiter. He drops a scene while he's watching the guy who got bailed out, which is amazing. All of this is like no audio from the scenes itself. It's like a jazz track that's playing. which is fantastic. There's also one of my favorite scenes in it is he's sitting. So I in a past life, I was a banquet server, and he's clearly sitting with a bunch of banquet servers after a fucking shift because they just have the fucking banquet chairs in an otherwise empty ballroom. And he gets up and does this weird, like, shuffle walk, and everybody cracks up. And then he, like, does it again. It's amazing.
It is, like, really... his character acting in this, he really just fell into this role perfectly. Like, Cage, I can't imagine anyone else. Any other actor in this specific role, I think, would have been just farce. But he plays it completely straight, and it's entertaining the entire way through.
100%.
Yeah. Yes. This was one of those roles that, like, he was, like, almost made for.
Like it's
much like Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do get another cut to give Elijah Wood credit. Elijah Wood is working in, like, an evidence warehouse. And at a certain point between walking through the racks, he spies a series of bikes that are logged as evidence. And so he starts riding one around the warehouse, which is a great intercut with the Stone scenes. I mean, it syncs up perfectly. But essentially what happens is Stone clues into a laundry service that... one of the trucks that comes through, the regular workers like him and some other characters we've seen in this montage are shooed away from. For no discernible reason. Again, there's no actual in-scene audio for this. So it's all context clues. So he tails this laundry vehicle when it leaves the casino and sees it go to what we eventually learn is a grocery of some sort. And then we cut to a scene of Waters showing up at Stone's house to pick him up. His dad, Jerry Lewis, answers the door, which is a kind of funny scene. I will say Jerry Lewis is kind of underutilized in this, but he's old
absolutely
as fuck at this point, and his scenes are still funny.
It's just nice that he's here, yeah.
Exactly. But there's even... I have to call it out, this small bit when he leaves is like, sorry, Dad's been in a mood lately. And, like, Waters is like, oh, he seems, like, really lively. Like, that's good. And he's like, yeah, that's good. I love that little exchange between the characters. So they go... Waters and Stone go to the grocery in the dead of night. And Stone explains what he observed and tells Waters he thinks this is more than just a money drop because whatever goes in here, it doesn't appear to be moved to another location. And he hands... This is one of my favorite bits that fleshes out the character of Stone, especially after the Vegas diner scene where he's trying to provoke Waters to find the red flag in that arrest jacket.
Yeah.
Because he hands him a series of Polaroids and he's like, there's something here. You know what? I'm not going to spoil it. Let's just see if you catch it. And while he's going through the photos, Waters is like... That's
another good con job move, too. Like, he's putting the impetus on the mark.
Yeah, and Waters is like, these photos look like a fucking homeless person took them. And Stone responds with, well, I wasn't going to go back there myself. And he's like, you got a homeless person to take these? And he's like, well, I paid him a little bit. And so the key factor in these Polaroids is there's a freezer with, like, an absurd amount of chains and locks on them. And after the information that, you know, this, like, corrupt laundry drop goes here and nothing seems to move out of this location, when Waters sees the picture of the freezer, he's like, oh shit, okay, so something's going on here. But then he flips to a Polaroid that is just the picture of a dick. And he's like, hey, did you notice this one? And Stone's like, "You found it." That was the one I was talking about. It's fucking hilarious, and again, solid.
That bit had me
character
on the
building.
fucking floor.
It was amazing. It was a
Well, and
great
then
scene.
Everyone loves a good dick joke.
There's another good joke in there too, where you see Waters like counting money, and Stone's like, "What's that tip you?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is more than I make in my day job."
Oh no, that's right. Stone hands Waters an envelope when they first meet up again, and there's cash, and he's like, "What the fuck is this?" And he's like, "My tips." And Waters starts cracking up, and he's like, "Don't laugh. That's more than we make in a week."
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what else is funny? Monetization. It's
everywhere, people.
It is. It's endemic, really, to our way of
Yeah.
life.
So all these college protests happening right now, sponsored by Halliburton.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to fact check that one.
I'm gonna fact check that.
I don't know. I think I heard on Alex
weirdly enough,
Jones
I just
show or
fact checked it. They're actually sponsored by Cisco Food Systems.
Oh, okay.
You'd
Makes more sense.
Them.
They're the secret hand.
Real big lack of dick pill shelling today. Like, what's up with that? Did they not cut us a check this month?
Yeah.
They didn't. Absolutely not.
Okay.
Look, Richard Pill Incorporated has not paid us.
So, from here we get another one of my favorite scenes, even though it's so minor. Waters goes to try and get information on this grocery store. So he goes to some, government-controlled blueprint office of some sort.
That's just fucking City Hall, bud.
Yeah.
You can do that anywhere you live. You can go to City Hall and be like, I want the blueprints for this address.
Well, the point here is the lady's like, I didn't hear anything about an investigation of this location.
Which is weird, because you can just do that. Like, I learned this from running Call of Cthulhu for years. You can go to most city halls and check the blueprints for almost any building in your town, and they're not going to ask questions, and I double-checked to make sure that was still the case, and it absolutely is.
Did you try and get blueprints to a
I
location?
did, yeah. No, I tried to get blueprints for the library, because I was curious if there was a secret chamber in there where they bricked up Montresor.
Did you get the blueprints?
I did!
Did they brick up a guy?
They did not brick up a guy, but you know what? The blueprints were cool to look at for a couple of minutes.
But when the lady goes to call to see if there's an investigation in this place, Waters reaches over and stops her from picking up the phone, which sets off this whole exchange, which is hilarious, but ends with Waters going, "I'll give you $100," and she's like, "Okay." Anyway, he gets the blueprints for this place, and long story short is that he sees that this freezer has been reinforced like a goddamn vault safe. There is layers of cement and shit, and it really essentially convinces Waters that Stone was right about this whole caper from get-go, which he's been kind of reluctant to participate in up until this point. Excuse me, up until this point.
You're excused. You may leave.
Thank you. So now we get to an amazing scene with they're developing the plan to get into this makeshift vault. And Stone calls this manufacturing plant in Germany. and he's got like an English to German dictionary in his hands.
It's not even a dictionary. It's like one of those guidebooks for tourists that
Yeah.
just have common phrases.
Which is, again, hilarious. But he calls them up and he's asking about their like diamond tip drills. And we get this exchange between two German workers who are like, this guy's acting suspicious. And the other guy's like, he's probably a bank robber. And the first guy's like, that's so cool.
Oh, you guys got subtitles on your copies?
Oh, you didn't know what they were saying to each
What
other?
the fuck? I watched this on Max and it wasn't fucking subtitled.
I always put subtitles on because I'm deaf as shit.
Okay, yeah, no, I guess that was the problem. It didn't give me the fucking necessary subtitles to understand what was going on because I'm just not that deaf.
Yeah, I am that deaf, and if you had subtitles on, it did translate it for us. So, like, the whole thing is like, this guy's acting suspicious, and he's asking about our diamond tip drills. And the other guy's like, he's probably a bank robber. And the first guy's like, that's so cool. And then just
That's
continues
awesome.
the conversation with
That's
him.
so much cooler.
It's so great.
Yeah. Fuck.
So Waters and Stone meet again on some, like, abandoned rooftop where Waters has taped out the apartment over top the grocery.
This is my favorite bit.
It's a great scene.
Yes.
And Stone leads the conversation with how much the drill setup is going to cost him, which is $10,000 a piece.
That seems okay for a diamond tip drill. Although, I have some issues with his foresight when we get later into the movie.
Sure. So Waters is a little bit cowed by the amount that's going to be required. But Stone flatters Waters with his taped out layout of the apartment building. There's a great bit where he's like, what happened over here? Because there's very squiggly lines on one of the walls. And Waters is like, that's when a bee flew in my face. There's a couple of great exchanges here where, like, Waters is like, this took me 3 hours to do. And Stone is like, it's Da Vinci-esque.
That's like the last thing he says, too. That's the punctuation, the punchline for that whole interaction, and it is perfect.
It's amazing.
There's so many good fucking scenes in this movie.
There really are.
Yeah, where did this movie fucking come from? Like, what is this?
I don't understand. An absolute box office flop, which is criminal. Absolutely
Yeah,
criminal.
because this is like a top 15.
Easily, for our fucking purposes?
Also, by the way, this was the scene where I wrote, nobody but Nick Cage could have played Stone's part in this. Because,
Yeah, no,
like,
100%.
if we
Yeah.
haven't fully properly described the insanity of this scene, Nick Cage is fucking sunscreening just his nose.
I
at the
forgot
start
about the
of
fucking
it.
sunscreen like he's going to a tennis tournament.
And it's Da Vinci-esque, and you know, I fucking dig you. The compliments he layers on Waters, with Waters being like kind of recalcitrant through this whole process, it's just amazing.
Look, I know it's farce. Like, this whole movie is farce.
100%.
But if it was not Nick Cage, it would play as the wrong kind of farce.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like this was Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
Would not hit as hard.
It would not hit as hard at all. I mean, maybe if it was like fucking Channing Tatum, that would be really funny. But
So, Waters has to go to Suple's character to get together the 10 grand for his half of the drill shit. And we get a pretty intense scene because, first of all, we see them talking in a cruiser. And Suple's character explaining this is a short-term loan. He expects to get paid back for this. And like due to the nature of it, it was like at first I thought Suplee was just going to give him 10 grand, but instead they like go into a business that's clearly running some sort of drug operation out of the back.
Yeah, it looked like a heroin operation.
Yeah. And Suplee shakes them down for $10,000. And does
Well, the original shakedown I think was for 20, because as he's doing it, the guy comes out and gives him like a cake box, and he was just like, "This is only one. You said you're giving me 2."
Yeah.
And that's when he does the okay, let's flip on it again.
And this one is way more intense than the first time because it's not a funny bit. It's him actually intimidating someone.
Right, there was 100% a part of me that was like, oh no, he put a bullet in the chamber and just knows which one it is.
And that's good filmmaking because it might have subverted your expectations, but like they're building on a prior scene in a way that makes you think that maybe something is different this time.
Right, I was 100% ready for someone to get shot. And
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was going to be purposely or played for kind of laughs, like the last movie we watched with the rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an intense scene, but I thought it was like 5 grand was one, and he wanted 2, which was the 10 grand. But
So I'm just making an assumption only because when, after he does the let's flip on it and they kind of cave and give him another one, she just puts money in, puts the cakes on top, which I don't know about you. I would have eaten those fucking cakes.
oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's just a bonus. And she hands it to him, and I assumed that was 10 grand in there.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that makes
I'm
sense.
assuming he's still taking his taste, but is doubling up to make a loan.
That makes sense. Regardless, this is how Waters gets his portion of the money for the drill. And Stone, meanwhile, goes through evidence and starts looking through shit. And at first I thought he was looking to, like, steal guns for the operation, but what he's actually doing is trying to find an illegal weapons dealer. And he finds one. Bobo. Which is hilarious. And he even clowns on this fact when he reaches out to the guy and goes to procure some guns from him. Stone's character plays very much like the squarest individual you've ever met. And to me, this is like the turning point scene for his character. Which
I was about to say,
really
this
makes you
is
start
where the-
questioning what you know about this individual.
Yeah. I just want a quick
Yeah, this is
aside
where the
about
movie turns for me.
the name Bobo, because we've already had some instances of sleight of hand magic. Bobo is actually the clown/stage magician who is considered to have written the Bible on sleight of hand coin magic, which I found just to be a weird little detail that kind of found its way in there.
I wonder if that's on
Oh.
purpose. I wouldn't put it
I
past
was also wondering that, yeah.
I think it has to be.
Like, I've got a copy of Bobo's Coin Magic, like, 10 feet from me right now.
Interesting. Ryan, you and I have to have a conversation about coin magic one of these days.
Absolutely.
I
Let you
know a
borrow my
couple of
copy, and now
moves.
you see it, now you don't. That book's good as hell. Really good illustrations. Teaches you everything you need to know.
I have the I don't. It's been a minute since I played around with close-up magic, but I have like the original, like Bibles on coin and card close-up magic.
Oh, you got the Royal Road to Card Magic, or is it the Harry Lorraine?
I might have both. There was a
Okay,
minute
the
that I was
Harry
really into this
Lorraine's
shit.
really fucking good.
Most card magic is one move called the pass, and you
Yes.
just get really good at that, and you're good to go.
Absolutely. That and card counting. Those are like the 2 moves you need to know.
Yeah. So Stone contacts this individual, gets into a car with him, The guy intimidates Stone, or at least it seems like that's what's happening, because Stone is acting like a complete square, asking questions, so on and so forth. But Bobo eventually drives him out to like a construction site and then pulls out 3 guns, 2 semi-automatics, and a revolver. And then Stone hands over a stack of cash, and Bobo actually makes a comment. I hope whoever you're going after is not somebody like me and is a square like you. At which point, so Stone like pulls out a glasses case and puts on glasses to start examining the firearms, and then raises the revolver and shoots Bobo in the face, very unceremoniously.
Well, there's also a little bit of setup there too, because he's asking questions like, "Oh, I'm assuming that there's no serial numbers, that they've been taken off," and Bobo is kind of like brushing it off, like, "Yeah, what the fuck do you think this is? Mm-hmm. Like, of course that's been done."
Yeah. Well, I thought
so there is a bit of setup.
I thought the specific question of, is this actually a fresh, clean gun, or have you filed the serial numbers off? Which is 2 very different things.
You know what? I think right. You're right, and I just read it a little bit differently.
Yeah. Because, if it was a clean, fresh gun, it wouldn't have a record, and I think that's what he's going for.
Yeah.
To tie back to another Nick Cage joint, at the conclusion of this scene, we see how he pulled this off. So, remember in Lord of War, what was the number 1 rule of running guns?
Don't snort a line of cocaine the shape of Ukraine?
That was rule number 2.
Oh,
rule number 1 was never get shot with your own product.
Right, yeah.
So the point was, all of the guns are unloaded. But when we cut back to the glasses case that Stone pulled out to put on glasses to examine the firearms, we see loose bullets. So what happened was, he requested a specific set of guns, knowing he was going to ditch the revolver, and brought bullets for that revolver to load the gun when he was examining it and shoot Bobo in the face. Subtle, but well told.
Yeah, because otherwise, why would a gun dealer have loaded guns?
He wouldn't. That was the whole point of the shot of the glasses case with the loose rounds in it.
It's good economic storytelling, and that's why this movie is phenomenal. A B+ to me. Yeah,
I agree 100%. So, after he shoots Bobo in the face, he wipes down the revolver, throws it into Bobo's car, takes the 2 semi-automatics and a stack of cash back. So Stone and Waters meet up and go over the details of the heist. Stone reveals his sense of humor a bit by fucking with Waters, saying he thought he was going to procure the van for this enterprise, and he just got the tags. Waters goes on a bit of a diatribe about how they're about to risk their lives, all of the things that can go wrong, and how could he be, not taking this more seriously? And Stone's like, no, I got the van. I was just joking with you. This is
which comes to a nice payoff in about 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then we cut to Waters waiting to be picked up, and not like a fucking commercial van, like a soccer mom van rolls up.
And as it's rolling up, he's like, please don't be this one. Please don't be this one.
And sure enough, it's the van. And so from there, we see them rolling up on the grocery store with the apartment above. Stone goes in first, says he'll signal Waters on the walkie, which does click a static hiss. Waters goes up to see Stone picking the lock of the apartment. And then inside, they're all masked up, gloved up, guns drawn, with silencers that Stone procured off camera. And they find a woman on a couch, which was unexpected. And then the main tenant, a man, shows up and throws a glass. I think it's at Waters before Stone comes to back him up. They subdue the two occupants of this apartment, zip tie them together, put them on a bed in the bedroom, and then Waters goes to start collecting their gear from the van. When Waters gets back inside, Stone confronts him sort of at the entrance and says, "Did you hear anything?" And Waters is like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, I looked away and the guy lunged at me, dragged the girl with him, and so I had to shoot." And we get like a pan shot of the bedroom. We see the man and the woman's feet and like blood on the carpet.
This specifically brought me to one of the early scenes of From Dusk Till Dawn, where Quentin Tarantino is the one who murders one of the hostages that they have prior to kidnapping the preacher and his kids to go to the strip club filled with vampires.
I got the same vibe from this scene.
Yeah.
Now, after that lead-in, Stone does reveal that the woman's alive. He just shot the dude. So they cut the woman loose of the dead body that she's been attached to, and then slips her bindings underneath one of the legs of the mattress frame.
Okay, this is horrible that my brain went there, but I definitely said you should put the guy's body on top to weigh down the bed when I was watching this.
Which is smart. I mean,
but gross for my brain to think.
True.
Yeah.
But that just means your brain is efficient. You don't need to apologize for that.
Yeah.
So, they do this. They continue to haul their their gear in to set up this drill, and then they start drilling through the floor of the apartment. About halfway through the drilling operation, a independent security company car pulls up. And Waters says, "I'm going to go deal with this." And he goes out and talks to the security guard. And he's like, "We're police officers." And the guy's like, "We got called out because we heard reports of some people who looked like they were moving like gear inside this building." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm with the police department. We're doing a sting. You need to turn off your lights. You need to keep this quiet," so on and so forth. Stone, meanwhile, is taking aim at this dude through the window with his fucking pistol. But Waters does manage to talk the guy down. Although he seems suspicious a little bit, there's no payoff here. He just leaves and is never referenced again.
Well, no, there's a little bit of a payoff, because the payoff is when he's talking to him, he says, "Hey, did you hear about the goods and services on the Nick Cage Fight podcast?" And that was the payoff.
Oh, shit.
It's a good payoff.
That is a great payoff.
Crazy that happened like that.
There's so many Nick Cage movies where they just reference goods and services, but they don't give names ever, and it's really, really convenient for us.
Super useful, really.
Yeah, always. And it always happens like right at the correct time too. Like, it's never too early or too late. It's always right exactly where we need it.
It's just
right
when you need
on
it. It's beautiful.
Well, you know what? We said we weren't going to advertise them, but, I use it on the daily. Rhino 69 dick pills. You can hit us up twice next month. It's okay. I'm still gonna advertise for you.
You gotta advertise when you're uncomfortably hard.
Life's hard, and you should be too. Rhino 69 dick pills.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I need to get paid for something like that. So, after talking his way out of this security guard um, uh, arrival. The woman who is restrained in the bedroom actually gets out by like just jacking up the bed, um, and she exits the bedroom. She exits the bedroom, and Stone draws down on her just as water comes back into the apartment, and he drags her into the bedroom before Stone executes her in cold blood. Um, he resecures her, this time to the sink in the bathroom, which is connected to the bedroom, and they get back to drilling. Unfortunately, the belt of the drill snaps.
Which makes me think that Nick Cage is not somebody who regularly deals with power tools, because you always have a backup for that type of shit. You always buy extras. You always get an extra belt. Necessary. Extra belt, extra drill bit. Absolutely necessary. You never know when you're going to throw one of those and it's going to get at like a weird angle and it's never going to align correctly again. Or just when a belt's going to snap.
Well, give them 1 out of 2. They did have extra drill bits. They didn't have extra belts.
You should have both. That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
But also, I mean, it's pretty clear they haven't had to use these industrial type of drills on any of their jobs before this, which if we haven't...
just owning a drill press makes you know that you should have extra belts.
Oh, they bought the press for the job.
I mean, if either of them had ever owned a drill press prior, not that owning this drill press specifically gave them that knowledge.
But this is actually a good point to quickly talk about this, because the movie does a great job of sort of plopping us in the middle of an existing relationship between Waters and Stone. It's pretty clear this isn't their first time that they've leveraged the inside knowledge of their job to sort of make a little extra on the side. You know what I mean? But this is also clearly the most ambitious job they've performed in this capacity. So I think that does kind of account for not anticipating the broken belt in this case.
No, it's definitely a lack of experience thing, and I think that's a characterization in and of itself.
Sure. So then they hit the drawing board. First, they try and set up a manual crank, which falls apart immediately. And then they try, because they realize they are a 1/4 of an inch off of getting through this cement shell. So they try and hit the drill bit with a sledgehammer. This doesn't get the job done. They don't think it'll work.
This did crack me up, where it's like Cage is about to do it, and he's like, "Why are your hands shaking?" It switches off to Elijah Wood, and when he actually does hit it, it's like, it's not good. It's bouncing too much.
Yeah. So Cage actually has a pretty interesting idea, which he mentions is a little odd. So we get like a quick montage of Waters doing his best to use like cushioning and furniture to soundproof the room as much as possible, while Stone extracts the gunpowder from a number of bullets and puts them into a pill bottle along with essentially a stretched out Brillo pad. And then some cable ends for an improvised explosive device. And then they load this into the channel that they've dug through the cement. And Waters goes outside to see exactly what the noise profile is going to be, while Stone inside sets off this improvised explosive device. The explosion's pretty good.
It's just like, a good pop.
Yeah, it's a muffled bang from outside.
And you get to see the in the windows. You do see a flash.
Yeah,
which is very subtle but very good. If like, I wasn't looking for it, but it caught my eye. I was like, oh shit, cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad that they hit that.
It's dope. Waters runs back in.
Yeah,
The
that's
smoke
the end of Stone. He's dead.
the smoke detectors are going off. The apartment is filled with smoke. And Waters comes across Stone lying on his back, eyes open,
Dead.
and he leans over the body. And then Stone goes,
The dead body. The dead body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
And
then,
Stone
much
goes,
like Jesus, Stone
"Boo!"
goes boop, just like Jesus.
Sorry, I was trying to create some tension for the listening audience.
Jesus had to do that, right?
He had to have gone boo.
The first time he popped around a tree after the apostles found the empty tomb, he had to be like, "No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing."
Oogada boogada, I'm Jesus.
So, very, very funny bit here, but the explosion did the trick. So now Waters goes downstairs to work the combination lock on the vault door. He has to saw through the chains on the freezer door. Inside, there's a vault door with a combination lock. Stone, meanwhile, sets whatchamacallit, a snake camera or periscope type thing.
Yeah, like one of the flexible ones.
Yeah, to see the inside of the safe door, and indicates that sure enough there are two fail safes, and they're gonna get one shot at this. So over walkie-talkie, Stone directs Waters to clear the combination and then start twisting and turning. Stone is using the periscope to see when the tumblers align and they get a catch. And Waters is in full safe cracker style, writing the numbers as they hit them. This scene is very tense. To me, this was like one of the biggest tonal shifts of the film, because they were clearly doing something dangerous and stressful, but this back and forth with them on the walkie-talkie, trying to make sure they get the combination right, actually had me holding my breath a little bit.
Yeah, it had some tension that just was not there for the prior, hour and 15 of the movie.
Yeah,
Correct.
no, this was cooking. This was
Yeah.
cooking for real. So they do. There is some consternation about the last number in the combo, but they do get it right, and Waters cracks the safe. Stone has a bit of a moment where he's like, "What are you seeing? Answer me. Did you lose me? What's going on?" And Waters eventually replies, "You got to come down and see this." And so Stone does. And this is one of those things where, I wonder if they're going for, it was so stark of a scene. I'm wondering if it's supposed to be a metaphor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what we see is this, stark white interior that lights come on as they walk into it.
And at first you think the room's completely empty is how I read it.
Yeah, there's a series of irregular rectangles across every single one of the walls. But one of them on the far wall is slightly ajar. So some of these are drawers, some of these are those pop out safety deposit box hinged deals. But the one that's already slightly open, Stone approaches, pulls out, and there are a number of very large, exquisitely cut diamonds. Waters opens a drawer and finds more diamonds. So they put everything back and go upstairs to clean up their gear. They're going to clean up their gear, then they're going to raid the vault, then they're going to leave. As Waters sets down a bag of gear, the woman that they have restrained in the bathroom calls out to him. He goes inside masked up, and she explains she has a 3-year-old at home. she needs to call his father so that the 3-year-old doesn't fucking die of like starvation or some shit. So Waters acquiesces and gets her to. This scene didn't make a ton of sense to me writing wise because he has her write the phone number on his hand and then he dials it on a phone that is in his pocket.
And
She
clearly a
could've just
burner phone
recited
too.
to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a reason why it was done like that.
It's for visual clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he dials it, holds the phone to her ear, and she says, "Can you do me a favor? I need you to help me out." It seems relatively innocuous. And then Waters goes back to his business, and as they're cleaning up, Stone and Waters find like a sort of seam in the wall in the apartment, and when they open it up, it is filled with guns. Handguns, assault rifles of some sort, a lot of guns.
Every gun you can imagine.
A lot of guns. Stone goes unmasked into the bathroom at this point and starts questioning the woman about the guns. And this is the point where, like, my hackles got raised a little bit because she's like, I don't know about the guns. Maybe they're the dudes. And Stone's like, who's the dude? And she's like, I have no idea. And it's like, bitch, why are you here? What is going on? These are not acceptable answers, given the circumstance.
She's just stone-faced. She clearly knows what's going on from future shit that happens.
Sure, but how, like, a cold-ass killer like Stone missed this part?
Yeah.
Is a little bit out of character.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, it doesn't really fuck with the story too much because Stone is never aware of the call that Waters allows her to make.
Which is also weird, yeah.
Is kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So while this interrogation is going on, Waters sits on an ottoman and finds what I originally thought, because of the lighting, was a gold-plated gun. It's just a nickel-plated, large, semi-automatic handgun.
Yeah.
And so Waters at this point is freaked out. He thinks they're in way over their head. The amount,
not a bad thought.
No, the amount of monetary goods they found in this vault suggest an incredibly large and complex organization. And Waters is convinced if they go through this, there's no way they don't get tracked down and murdered. Also, side note, Ryan, your cat looks like a Studio Ghibli character.
He was being loud, so I had to pick him up. He's actually named for the soot spirits from Spirited Away.
I was gonna say, it looks like a soot spirit from Spirited Away.
His name is Soot, yeah.
I thought you were showing him off.
Adorable.
No, he just started screaming, and I know when that happens. I just gotta pick him up for a couple of seconds, and then he'll shut up.
Yeah. I have cats now, and I understand that.
Yeah. Sometimes they just need like 5 seconds of attention.
I wish my dogs were like that. They need all of your attention all the time.
Yeah.
So Stone is still confident that they can pull this off. Waters at this point gets suspicious that Stone knew something about what was up here. Who just stumbles on to an operation of this size? And then, possibly in paranoia, Waters believes that Stone is setting him up to take the fall for all of this, so Stone can get away with this, like, Mega Millions version of a heist. And Stone's like, no. I've got tickets for both of us to, like, Barbados.
He's got 2 tickets to paradise.
He does.
R.I.P. Eddie Money.
So Stone goes back to enter the vault, and it turns out Waters had the foresight to memorize the combo, wipe off his grease marker notations, and lock the vault behind them. So now Stone can't get into the vault. We get an amazing unhinged Cage scene as a result of these actions, where Stone is just screaming in Waters' face, "Open it," repeatedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's good. It's good. Um, and eventually Stone threatens Waters with a gun. And then in the next scene, we see them all. We see Waters and Stone inside the vault, and Stone emptying every single nook and cranny of this thing into a series of bags and putting them on a wheel cart. They empty the vault, and Stone goes to finish loading the van and says they'll take the woman up north before getting rid of her, which they have to do because she saw Stone's face during his interrogation about the guns. So Waters goes in to see the woman without his mask on at this point, and he's brought with him the nickel-plated semi-automatic handgun from the Ottoman that he has loaded, and he takes up a shooting stance just inside of the bathroom, waiting with the gun pointed at the door. As Stone rounds the corner, starting to apologize for one of their interactions, Waters shoots, but it looks like he just grazes Stone in the neck with his shot. Waters goes to look into the hallway, and we get kind of a chaotic shootout with both of them firing through drywall at each other. Waters in this firefight manages to hit Stone, drops him for good. He finds 2 tickets in Stone's hand, just as Stone had claimed he had. And he goes back and puts everything that Stone had loaded into the bags back into the vault. Pausing at the last panel and taking a moment to sob to himself. So then he collects the woman from the apartment. He puts one of their balaclavas on her face backwards and loads her into the van. And as he drives off, explains that if she does exactly what he says, she'll live. If not, she won't. And then says, once we get to where we're going, I'll let you out, and you're good. There are a couple of really subtle bits in this scene where we get some cuts to the view of the rearview mirror and a weird industrial van that is in that view. But once they get to the more abandoned roads, that same van pulls in front of the vehicle that Waters is driving.
I got a question about this.
Sure.
Did you guys misread the name of the company as Mob Electricians? Because it definitely says
Yes, I did.
MDB Electricians. Okay, thank you.
I had
glad
to go
I
back.
wasn't the
Does
only
that say
one.
Mob Electricians?
That's 100% what I thought it said.
That's funny. I did not notice that at all.
I 100% noticed that, and I was like, uh-oh, Frodo's in trouble.
So this van pulls in front of Waters' vehicle, and then a SUV Jeep-ish thing pulls alongside him on a no-pass road. I don't know if you guys noticed that detail.
Yeah, yep.
So it's clearly a box-in.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, and the industrial van in front of Waters has a construction contact us number on it. And Waters clues in on this and realizes it's the number that he dialed for the woman in the bathroom. He starts trying to question her and threatening to shoot her through the back seat. Who are these people? Who did you call? And the van's back door opens up in front of him. He tries to flash his badge through the windshield, and a round fires through, catching him in the face and killing him outright. The van pulls off as the soccer mom van continues with Waters dead as a doornail in the front seat. The woman rather deftly gets her zip-tied hands in front of her, pulls the bag off of her head, and manages to stop the soccer mom van right before it would get T-boned by a semi. The camera pans down to Waters' police badge on the front seat, which is then picked up by a pair of latex-gloved hands and placed into an evidence bag. We also get to see his wedding ring slipped into an evidence bag. And then we get one of the coolest outros to like a fucking crime thriller
I loved
ever
this.
seen.
Yes, absolutely.
I was
Fucking
watching.
perfect.
I was like, this is right up Ryan's alley.
Yes, absolutely.
All of this shit gets placed into an evidence box, which we sort of follow POV style, gets put on the shelf of, a warehouse. Then we...
It's the end of fucking Raiders of the Lost
Yes!
Ark,
Yes,
which is so
that's the
awesome. Like,
same
do that with
vibe
more
I
crime
got.
movies. So good.
Then we get like a camera on the driver of a forklift who's navigating a pallet, and then eventually deposits it. And as the forklift moves on and the camera lingers, we see it's the drill stand, the press drill from the heist.
From the heist, yeah.
Yeah. And the credits roll, and this was so goddamn entertaining.
It was so fun. And that last,
Fun movie, B+.
The punctuation at the end with just everything going into evidence was just like that cherry on top of just a really fun movie. Loved it.
I liked it so much, and I liked it because of very specific absences. I found them compelling. Am I internally frustrated that I know nothing about this criminal enterprise that had this insane high-tech vault with like uncut diamonds and like doubloons?
Oh, those
like
were
gold
cut.
coins
Yeah, those
and
were
shit?
definitely all cut.
Oh, I'm sorry, cut diamonds.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
admitting
yeah.
that, like, I don't know anything about them and they were never brought up, but also...
I'm not. I think that's a more interesting narrative choice.
It is.
Yeah, I was about to say I feel like that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is how these two are interacting. It doesn't matter who they're going after.
Right. Yeah, I think if they had fleshed out the criminal element more, it would have been a lesser film.
It's one of those things. It honestly, it draws me back to one of my. Can I tell you guys about one of my nerd conspiracy theories?
Yeah, sure. What do you got for me?
Yes.
Sure. George R.R. Martin is never going to release another book.
I mean, written
Okay.
by him, nah, but edited by him with some short stories by him, absolutely. Because
Sure.
they're still pumping out Wild Cards fucking books to this
No,
day.
my point is the A Song of Fire and Ice.
Yeah,
He's never
okay.
going to release another one of those books, and here's why.
I just want him to put out another one of those fucking vampires in space books he did in the 80s. Or the
Sure.
fucking... Did you read the one where it's about a Lord of the Rings themed band, but it's actually a fucking slasher novel?
No, I
That-
haven't.
It's the
I
best
haven't
George
seen
R.R. Martin book by a country mile. It's better than all of A Song of Ice and Fire.
Nice.
The main character is just named Frodo. It's fucking great.
Nice.
And he's just a
But-
stoner from the 60s who wrote, like, prog rock about Lord of the Rings, and now he's being hunted by a killer who does Lord of the Rings-themed crimes.
I have to check that out.
It's great.
But my point with that, bringing up that conspiracy theory, is this: the HBO show highlighted the crux of an issue with creating such an intriguing set piece, and that is, at a certain point, you've set the hook on a broad audience. And when you have done that, the conclusion, the finale, the scoop into the net is going to alienate 50% or more of your audience. So the answer to how you deal with that is fuck them. Don't ever give them the answers.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
let them have that sense of disappointment or catharsis. Leave it up to them, because then it's their fucking fault. And that's what this movie does. We never understand Stone. Period. He could have been entirely sincere. He could have been the biggest prick in the world.
He had there were 2 tickets, one of which had Wooder's name on it.
We didn't see any
Okay, we didn't see
tickets.
it, but I think that like when he looks at it, he realizes that there's definitely
Bro, that doesn't mean he's not a psychopath.
it doesn't mean he's not a psychopath. It means that he's a psychopath that wants to go to Barbados with his buddy and, hang out with a bunch of diamonds.
But here's the other thing. Those tickets could have 100% revealed Stone as a liar.
Yeah.
We never get to see that definitively. And the evidence can go either way. Stone plays really sincere in a bunch of parts. He also plays a stone cold killer in a bunch of parts. So you never get to know him. You never get to know what the motivation is, and you have to fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah.
The criminal organization, we don't get any information about that. The history of the woman, her role in this whole situation, also up to the viewer to determine. Those absences of evidence are what make an otherwise formulaic story compelling, in my opinion. It's pretty fantastic. It's tightly written. Tons of fantastic elements of comedy in it, and superbly acted by 2 fantastic actors giving a masterclass on just chewing up scenery and demonstrating phenomenal chemistry.
Agreed. Yeah. Great film. Honestly, one of the best we've seen in a minute. Definitely the best we've seen, like, fucking 4 or 5 weeks worth of.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, no, this was entertaining. It was fun. The people involved seemed like they were having fun, and that is
nobody phoned it in like crazy.
That's an oddly important part of a good movie. If you're not having a good time, we're gonna pick it out.
Yeah,
everybody was having a good time.
I'm curious what we got going next.
I am as well. Rich,
is it next?
No.
Yeah, watch it next again. It's a retrospective.
Well, I didn't watch Next with you guys. I just saw it independently and also hated it.
I am going to give you guys a choice. I'm not going to say what the movies are, but you get a choice of a movie that we know to be good or a movie that looks like dog shit.
Let's continue with the good shit. We had a dry period there.
All right, so I think I understated it a bit because it's not only good. It's a trilogy movie.
Oh, baby!
Oh, we're talking about the
Holy Trinity, baby.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. Which?
I mean, it could be one of 2 films. Is it the best James Bond movie, or is it a really good fucking plane film?
It's the best James Bond movie.
Hell yeah!
We got The Rock.
It's got that green shit that blows up in it. Fucking love this movie.
Losers try, winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
This movie is in the Criterion Collection.
Rightly so.
Absolutely.
Maybe the Criterion Collection's greatest selection.
Yeah, it's right up there with Armageddon in being a film in the Criterion Collection.
I'm going to give it more credit than that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
The Rock is a phenomenal film. Phenomenal.
So we're going to save the bad movie for... It'll be a palate cleanser after The Rock.
A palate cleanser.
Yes, it'll be our reset.
It's gonna be like drinking engine degreaser.
Dragging us back to Earth after glimpsing the majesty of Nirvana.
We will see the
100%.
kingdom of heaven.
So wait. Are we prepared for a 3-parter?
I am.
Last time was
if
a
it's
4-parter.
The Rock, absolutely.
Wasn't Face Off a 4-parter?
I think we did cap it out at 3. I can't remember.
Okay.
I mean, I can go on about the Holy Trinity of these films, much like the Catholic Church can go on about the Trinity of divinity, as it were. But no, this is wild. Those 3 films are why we started this podcast.
I started it because I hopped into it because I wanted to talk about Bringing Out the Dead, and we've already done that, which means I can quit now if I really wanted to.
Absolutely.
No, you can't. Our contracts are ironclad.
Yeah. Okay,
contractually,
cool.
Yeah, no, you have to chop off your entire dominant hand if you wanted to quit the podcast.
My dominant hand is my left foot. And it was 3 parts. Confirmed.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have a book to write between now and then. But yeah, no, this was The Trust. Good film, entertaining film, a fun flick.
It gets my emphatic watch it.
Yeah, if you've gotten to this point, even if you think we have laid out every important element of this film, go watch it. You're going to have a good time. Frodo is really uncomfortable with a heist. And it's infinitely entertaining. It's a good film. In the meantime...
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, hang on. So, before you do this, I just want to give a big thanks to everybody who has been listening. Like, the past, 3 weeks has been, our highest listenership, basically, ever.
Hell yeah.
So, for people who have been with us from the beginning, thank you. People who are joining in now, thank you. We have a huge back catalog. Go on to whatever you listen on and give us a 5-star rating. Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever it is. I'm still going to ask for your money, but at minimum, just hit that 5-star button for us because that helps us reach out to more people.
We love 5 stars.
And if you're a listener who delights in our own personal misery, I will let you know I wake up at least once a month in a cold sweat after a nightmare where we have finished the entire filmography of Nicolas Cage, and then I get frantic phone calls months later from Rich and Ryan going, our viewership, our listenership has spiked into the several thousands, and we need to figure out a way to capitalize on this. That is my nightmare.
I mean, that's when we jump into The Calm Before the Storm Air.
or Workabye Baby.
Or Workabye Baby.
Or just because we've given Elijah Wood so much love this episode, Lost in the Woods, the complete filmography of Elijah Woods.
I was going to call it Morningwood.
Would you rather?
Oh, Morningwood.
Morningwood's really good. That's really pure.
Morningwoods is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We'll have to do an audience poll if we find ourselves in that situation.
Well, we're going to, because, to give people a look behind the scenes, is that I use, a random number generator to see what the next movie is. And every now and then, I will manipulate the random numbers. It's a movie, if we've had, 3 bad ones in a row, and then we get to G-Force, I'm just no, I'm going to roll that again.
Fair.
We're getting to a point where I got to hit that random number generator 12 or 13 times.
Oh, God.
We are running out of daylight.
Sure.
We're at close to 50% of Nick Cage movies.
Wait, we're not
past the 50% point?
It feels like we're past 50%.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, we had to have watched 70 movies for that. I actually think you're right. I think we're not there yet.
So we have 150 episodes. Divide by 275. Keep into account that we have one or two 3-parters. We have
Plus
our
or
early
minus.
ranking episodes that we have not continued because it would be way too hard. So we're at about 70 movies. And I think Nick Cage had, if I remember correctly...
It was like... Oh, shit.
It was like 190 and growing?
I don't think it was that high.
Putting them out.
Oh, no, we're good. It's 118 films currently, including upcoming. We're over the hump, guys.
Holy
No,
shit.
that feels low.
We're over the hump. It's 118, including the stuff that is coming out this year.
I see 122.
122, you're right. There are 4 more movies to come out this year, but yeah, no, we are over the hump regardless.
Oh, wow, okay.
We
milestone.
did it. Congratulations, we done it.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at, like, the early work, and we have watched more than we haven't. Like,
I think we still got,
Sweet.
like, Guarding Tess, Amos and whatever. We got the fucking
Well,
one
no,
where he has
so, like,
the lottery ticket.
So, like, his first movie, like, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, done. Valley Girl, done. Rumblefish, done. Racing with the Moon, not done. Cotton Club, done. Birdie,
Done.
not done. Boy in Blue, done. Peggy Sue Got Married, done. Raising Arizona, done. Moonstruck, done. Vampire's Kiss, done. Like,
Tepano Uchidere, not done.
yeah. Correct. We still need to
We
hit
gotta
that.
find
I actually
a
wouldn't,
copy
I
of
wouldn't have
Time
hit
to
that
Kill.
early.
Yeah.
Have we gotten to the point where we are the most comprehensive location for synopses?
I think
Nicolas Cage movies at this
probably at this
I hope
point.
so.
Yeah. It'd be weird if we weren't.
So leading experts, people are saying, some people are
So,
saying,
very smart people.
we are the leading
People without brain
experts.
damage, you're saying.
So, yeah, no, I have to echo Rich on this one. Thank you so much. If you're listening to this, if you've listened to our past episodes, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. This is purely a passion project for us. We're just having a good time, hanging out with the boys, talking about some Nick Cage, and coming up with fun, pun-based names for other actors we would consider giving this treatment to. Like Suplee, more like Suplex. The entire run of Ethan Suplee's filmography.
But now, with that, would we watch every Boy Meets World episode he's in, or just the ones with Vader in it?
I think everyone, yeah. Everyone that he appears
Everyone
in.
with him
It's got
in it. Because
every
he's not
appearance.
in everyone.
If
No, he's only in, like, the first 3 seasons. Once they, like, go to college, he's not there anymore. I don't think he's in the late high school episodes.
As far as I'm concerned, if Nick Cage was in a TV series, we would have to watch every episode of that TV series that included Nick Cage. So I think that's
Correct.
so
absolutely how that would work.
He's the narrator of the history of curse words.
Cage is?
Yes.
Well, we got to watch
We'll do
those.
that as a Patreon.
Yeah, that's a Patreon. That's
Yeah.
part of the assignment.
It is.
And
it
we
is part
also
of the
do have
assignment.
to watch every appearance on, like, fucking Talk TV with Cage. We got to watch every interview. We have to watch
Celebrity Deathmatch.
Celebrity
which I'm excited
Deathmatch,
for.
Saturday Night Live. Every time this man has been publicly publicly filmed, we have to watch.
Every interview he's given in a karate gi.
Yep. Or a lack of
All right,
shirt.
Let's go over the where to find us.
Sure, absolutely. If the wait for our next episode is just too much for you to bear, you can interact with us directly. I promise we will respond on X at CageFight_pod. That's the Cage Fight guarantee. If you tweet X at us, whatever the fuck it's called, we'll respond. Eventually, it'll be Blue Sky, but for now, we are the orchestra playing on the Titanic. So make a request. We will play.
We would love to play
full
Camptown
acoustic set of
Races.
Freebird.
Yes.
Pick your poison. We will respond. I've been told. Well, first, let's get this out of the way. Drunken Uncles, find us on Facebook. We are Nick Cage. Give us your advice.
And
pitch
your
us
money.
your scripts.
Only if you're both drunk and an uncle, though.
We
Yeah,
love
that's very
drunkles.
important. Smoking Ants, please just go to our Patreon. Don't hit us up on Facebook. Rich, what's the Patreon for Smoking Ants?
That would be patreon.com/NickCageFight. We have different levels for different shit. Just read about them. I don't feel like going over it, but if you give us $1, you get episodes with the ads surgically removed. Ryan will give you an anesthetic and,
I'm going to get my
just
scalpel
go to
out.
work.
It's not actually a scalpel. It's just an X-Acto blade I use to take the mold lines off of my Warhammer 40k models.
Yeah, there's so much super glue on that thing.
Yep.
Guaranteed infection or your money back.
Yep. Staff or your money back. That's the Cage Fight guarantee. So that's going to do it for us. And The Trust, a good film. We recommend you watch it. And as always, dear listeners, please remember, we appreciate you.
Auf Wiedersehen!